You were never meant to stay more. You were forged in chaos and crowned in questions. You are the flame they tried to drown, the story that refused to end. This world will call you too much, too loud, too far, too free, but the moon knows the ache in your bones isn't madness. It's the memory of the stars. And tonight, under this full moon in Sagittarius, you don't just remember who you are, you become it. Full moon in Sagittarius, June 11th at 20 degrees 39 minutes. And the sun going to be in Gemini, also in 20 degrees, and it's going to square the nodes. The north node is in Pisces and the south node is in Virgo. So it's going to create a mutable T square and a chaotic cosmic crossroad right now. So what's going to happen during this full moon? Truth against illusion, facts against belief, surrender actually against structure. And this lunation doesn't just whisper closure. Actually, it's calling to us right now and it's using megaphone. All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Krisztina. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to tell you why do I use the word co-pilot, because I do believe you own your power and I am evolutionary astrologer, so I do believe change can happen through our mind and through our, a personal power. And actually, we have to navigate our own, life over here. I am just someone who is going to help you actually to manage the challenges or try to actually tell you, hey, there is a good opportunity, and why don't you take on to it? Like when the cosmic era, when the stars are very, very beneficial for us. On the other hand, if you're new to my channel, I also would like to tell you, not only I'm an evolutionary astrologer and I believe mind over matter, but I have a lot of qualification. I also certified ratifying charts as well. I really into medical astrology and also karmic astrology as well. So if you would like to have a reading with me, you can check out my website, which is urbanwitch.org. Also subscribe and like, comment below, because that's how I'm going to be able to give you more readings and give you more clarity in your life. I am obsessed with asteroids and fixed stars, and I'm obsessed with mythology, let me tell you. So the way I'm analyzing a chart for you guys, I always bring in collective situation with the recent geopolitical, field, and also I'm going to bring in always historical parallel as well, because of astrology repeats itself. It's never going to turn back to exactly the same way as it before, because of we are doing human evolution, and also, in personal level and on collective level. So the spiral is always going upper and upper, but it's linear also. So it is going back to the same point, but in a higher level. So the synodic cycle in astrology, actually, you can find historical parallel. Mythology, why is it really important? Mythology is very important because of then you understand the asteroids, what's involved, the fixed stars and the planets, obviously. And then you are capable to predict in the future, right? Because of you understand actually the archetype of the planets and archetype of the aspect as well. And we are capable to say, oh, okay, is it going to have more positive rays or more negative rays for the collective or for personal life. And also I have to mention that over here in personal life, usually that is not that intense, even a very, very hard aspect. For the collectives, it's more like, like more devastating. But in personal life, obviously, the personal life, we are center of our, universe, and we can feel those kind of emotion. But when I'm analyzing some bad aspect, usually for the collective, it's always sounds a little bit worse. And I'm totally for radical honesty. That's how I raise my children. And because then you don't get surprised. It always can get better. And I do use the negative and the positive aspect of the planets. As you know, the astrology and the main, you know, what is that? Not content, but base of astrology is as above, so below, as within, so without. So there is always negative and positive side of each individual planet. And you also have to know the trine is granted, it is a gift for us. The sextile is something which is positive, the aspect, but you have to work for it. The square, not necessarily bad, it could bring in some kind of challenges, but you have a growth out from it. Usually, opposition and malefic conjunction could be bad in general, but that's what we are here to analyze everything. So give me a chance, subscribe, comment below, and share it with your relatives. Share it on social media everywhere. If you feel like I'm spreading the truth over here. I have a Sagittarius rising, a Pisces sun, and a Leo moon. So yes, I'm here to say the truth. So today we're going to talk about the Sagittarius full moon, and you also have to know I always write out all the aspect with asteroids and also with fixed stars as well. I talk about the archetype of those as well, and I talk about the Sabian symbol. When you analyze the Sabian symbol, and if the moon is actually in 20 degrees 39 minutes, actually it's already in the third decan, right? So it brings in a Leonian energy, a sun energy, and also a royal energy in this full moon. And you also have to know the full moon is always a closure and ending, signing off of contract. And then, what could have started actually half year ago when the Sagittarius new moon happened in November. And then you also have to know the Sabian symbol. Actually, it's always going up 1 degree. So if it is 20 degrees, 39 minutes, we're going to check the Sabian symbol actually of 21 degree Sagittarius, because that's what relevant actually to the energy, what we are analyzing. And usually I'm not only going to bring in collectives, but also, I'm bringing in, like, for example, recent political leaders or recent political fields. I always talk about weather, health, like in general education, because I think it's very, very important. And then I analyze each individual signs, rising signs, and then I go and all the lunation includes a meditation. And today I wrote you actually a beautiful angelic meditation. So stay with me till the end. I'm gonna try to timestamp. I always do actually, but sometimes it takes time. And then you will be relieved, and the meditation is really beautiful. So what is the Sabian symbol of the 21 degrees Sagittarius over here? So that is a child and the dog, and they both actually wearing borrowed eyeglasses. So what does it really mean? Actually, this is something to do with your perception. And also the child and the dog is loyal and innocence, right? Both of them. So that's they are representing innocence and like some kind of unfiltered curiosity, for example. They want to explore the world, and they are very, very raw. But the eyeglasses over here, it's a perception, it's a tool to see clear. And it is also, many times we call the glasses like it's an intellectual framing as well. And this is borrowed glasses, it's not theirs, So It could actually mean like during this full moon, we are very, very childlike. We are very, very naive, for example, and very loyal to something, but not necessarily to all. It could be a dogma, and we don't necessarily understand the things through our perception. We want to understand it through someone else's lenses. So right now we have to ask ourselves, and you have to ask yourself, are you seeing the world through your own eyes or through the projection and beliefs of someone else? And have you adopted a worldview no longer fits your soul right now? So, what is the themes of this full moon, and especially through the Sabian symbol? This is a new perspective, something what they don't quite fit yet, right? And it is playful because it's in Sagittarius, and also why Sagittarius could be seek for wisdom. But there is something with the innocent ignorance over here. It could be insightful, but also very naive and innocent and trusting in some kind of philosophies or dogma which is not ours. But also, it's healing through some kind of humor or animal shelter, or children or some kind of play. So we are capable actually to connect right now with our humorous side, or with our children and animals as well. And I always talk about the aspect it takes as well and does as well. And definitely it squares the notes, and it's also going to happen on a fixed star, which is Razelhosh, right? And this symbol actually, and this actually, this fixed star is, do something, is the serpent barrier, and it is also called because it is the constellation uh, Ophiuchus, and that is sometimes called as a 13th sign of the zodiac, but that's wrong because actually it is a mythological portal, guys. So there is no 13th sign of the zodiac, but it is in the Alpha of Yoke, and then it is Ptolemy and Arvidas always, uh, said differently about the nature of the fixed stars, but usually I going with Ptolemy, and he said it's Saturn and Venus. So it brings in some kind of seriousness and also some kind of melancholy, but it's going to bring in pain with grace and also melancholy with magnetism as well. So this fixed star, and I have to bring a quote over here. Usually I bring a quote all the time. And as you know, reggae music is my favorite. And Bob Marley said, don't gain the world and lose your soul. Wisdom is better than silver or gold. So that is actually representing the Sagittarius full moon on this fixed star as well, because Venus, Saturn over here. Plus, the Sagittarius full moon actually is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in exaltation already in Cancer. So that is the Jupiter in Cancer kingdom, right? So that is definitely, there is some kind of healing, there is some kind of sacred medicine, some kind of alchemist edge over here. But sometimes healing comes through poison. Saturn could be the poison. Venus going to get healed. But what does it really mean? To have it on this fixed star, and. If you want to know a little bit more about the mythology, actually the Russell Hodge represent, it's a Greek god of healing and medicine. It was son of Apollo and trained by actually Chiron. And, it's God actually resurrected the dead. And also he's forever holding the serpent, so the symbol of the life force, the DNA, the kundalini, the alchemy over here. So the serpents itself represent healing, sexuality, wisdom, danger, and transformation. And of YOKOs, actually the mastery of what can be tamed, And then when we're going to go and go further a little bit, this is actually a sapphire star, and it's situated in the Ophiuchus, and head of the serpent over here. And as I said, Ptolemy says it is the nature of Saturn and Venus, and Alvida says it is Jupiter and Mercury conjunction sextile with Mars. So this is a huge difference between these two ancient astrologers over here. And like, because Jupiter Mercury, it's more positive, and even if it's sextile with Mars, sextile, it's Venusian in nature, in flavor. So obviously it's always a better perspective by Alvidas than by Ptolemy, right? So there is definitely some kind of healer wound dynamic over here. We are going to heal trauma and some kind of ancestral or some kind of sexual trauma in our life. And that could be some kind of release of long-held pain over here. But also it could be because it's Sagittarius, and it could be also danger of obsession over here as well, and fanatism, martyrdom, right? It could bring in some kind of compulsive saver, complexes over here. So that is enough about actually this fixed star, and we're going to go back and we're going to actually talk about the nodes over here, and also we're going to talk about the Sagittarius. So let's talk about Sagittarius and the myth and the archetype over here, and the roots of that. So Sagittarius is, it's a centaur, and it is often identified also with Chiron, the wounded healer, or actually follows the one who opened the sacred vine and caused the massacre. So both of them going to embody some kind of contradiction over here because of half wild and half wise, half animal and half human over here. So the centaurs are actually shooting arrows, and they are shooting arrows toward to truth, freedom, and they are looking for meaning in love, meaning in life. And the archetype of Sagittarius is the seeker, the philosopher, the nomad, and the rebel scholar over here. And what are we seeing right now around the world? There is a lot of rebel scholar, there is a lot of protesters right now. And it's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter actually in Sagittarius, Jupiter rules daytime Sagittarius, right? And Jupiter is expansion and also traveling and teaching and publishing and foreign lands and also cosmic jokes and higher education as well. So it is also use your YouTube channel, your Twitters there. So the shadow side actually of Jupiter and Sagittarius is dogma, know it all kind of vibe, the spiritual bypassing, impulsivity. And also Jupiter is martyrdom as well. So, and righteousness. Yes, Sagittarius right to be right. And Sagittarius rules the ninth house. So the theme of the ninth house over here is the belief system, long distance traveling, faith actually against dogma, and high education, teaching and learning. Sagittarius teach and learns the same time. Sagittarius the faith and the dogma at the same time. The big whys over here. And on the market and the collective level, actually, it's the publishing, global media, anything to do with legal system, courts, immigration policies, for example, religious leaders and churches as well, and university system, and also student loans, international diplomacy and borders, airlines. It is airlines and tourism and global supply routes as well. So when we are going to analyze the collective, we're going to talk about that, and how is it actually going to awaken those areas, and what is it going to do with those areas. And, the full moon itself, it's closure, it's ending, it's candles also, and awakening and burst of clarity, in personal and in public life as well. And the North Node itself, the nodes are not planets, guys. It's a mathematical point of the moon and deeply connected with the lunation and with the eclipses. And the nodes are right now in Pisces and in Virgo until next year. Next year, summertime, they're gonna move to Aquarius and Leo by Western astrology, right? And then what does it mean? So, for example, North Node in Pisces, and you also have to know the nodes are going backward. It's in retrograde motion, and it's take them 18 and a half years to go around the zodiacal cycle. So usually they are around 18 months in one sign, right? And it's always across each other's. They are always working in axis point. So if North Node in Pisces, South Node is in Virgo. It's North Node in Aquarius, South Node is in Leo, right? Uh, yes. Yeah. All right. So, right now the North Node is in Pisces, and Pisces, anything to do with soul surrounders, anything to do with dreams and oneness, anything to do with, spiritual growth and compassion. Compassion is very, very important, but Pisces has a lot of shadow side. Pisces actually has the shadow of addiction and avoidance and false saviors, and also actually escapism as well, escapism in drugs and alcohol. And the South Node in Virgo, it's like clinging to control and to neurosis and checklist of perfections over here. So um, it's medicine and poison at the same time. So we always have to talk about that. And the axis says stop actually micromanaging your life. And you can't actually spreadsheet your way out of divine lessons, but also don't fall into blind faith or savior syndrome over here. The Virgo is actually discerns and Pisces believes. And this full moon, they're going to create actually a T square with the moon, right? And it is like pushes this some kind of collective crisis over here. So, do I believe what I was taught, and is my routine, empty or my routine are spiritual based? And where have I outgrown the gospel or the productivity, What truth am I terrified to admit? So that is really, really, really important during this month. And let's talk about actually the Jupiter exaltation in Cancer. So Jupiter is ruling Sagittarius, Pisces in the 12th house, and it's actually in detriment in Gemini and Virgo, and it's exalted in Cancer and fall in Capricorn. So um, you have to know the essential dignity of the planets, because of if the dignity is good for a planet, especially for the benefic planet, but also the malefic. Malefic tend to be more aggressive actually when they are in fall, because they are more frustrated. They create more challenge for us and danger for us. And I also have to tell you, if you are actually Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius, or you have any kind of planet, rising sun, moon, or any kind of stellium in those signs, and those are between, for example, 17 to 23 degrees, you are very affected, okay? And if you have something in Leo or in what is the other one? Aries at between 17 to 23 degrees, you're gonna trine with this moon, so the outcome gonna be more positive for you. So you always have to understand that on personal level, right? And we are going between 5 degrees over here when I'm analyzing your chart. So what's gonna happen over here when actually Jupiter is in exalted? And right now, tonight, I also gonna make another two videos, but the other one going to be actually uh, Saturn Jupiter square and Neptune Jupiter square, and the same video I'm going to also analyze Mars and what's gonna square over there, Uranus in Taurus square. So it is a huge downfall of kings and kingdoms, and you will see, because I'm gonna bring in the US and others chart, and I'm gonna also go on a little bit, because we're gonna have more fixed stars involved on that video. But okay, let me go forward actually with this analysis over here, because I'm going back and forth with everything. So the full moon domain, right? It is Jupiter, and Jupiter is anything to do with, it's in Cancer. So It's ancestral healing, it motherlands, nurturing, nurturing your loved ones, and also emotional intelligence. So it's a big yes for us over here. And so Jupiter rules this moon, and it is some kind of, right now it's in Cancer, something to do with emotional magnification, something to do with surges in homeland protection, family values, and also nationalism. Sometimes it could be toxic also, because Jupiter is over extra general, like over expand, and there could be also some kind of opportunities in real estate or something to do with maternal healing as well, financial growth through home-based businesses and family-centered ventures as well. But we will see actually the rise, for example, maybe more children going to born. There is going to be better prenatal care or better, maybe the US going to pay the mothers who are having babies some kind of, salary what they had before. In Hungary and in Europe, we have that. Actually, Sweden, Finland, and Switzerland have, and Belgium has the best cares for mothers actually when they get pregnant and they deliver a baby. So we can see that around the world right now. But as I said, this is going to indicate some questions. As I said, what do I truly believe? And, what is my philosophy right now? Should I change faith right now? Because it doesn't suit anymore. Jupiter is questioning everything. All right, and then we also going to actually talk about, yes, the notes we already talked about. So, and then we have to also talk about some asteroids. And let me see. So I wrote it down for you. I have my little notebook here. Actually, I don't get any money for this, but I every single year the honeycomb, what I order, and then oh my God, does it show honeycomb? Yes. And I have my personal transit here, and also the general transit as well, for each month and each days. And I love this. And then I write my little notes on this. Actually, you guys have to know, I was thinking I'm going to do my own calendars because of I am already more than halfway of the 2026 analysis for each individual sign. I just have to record them because I want to do a Christmas in July, and I'm going to have a 30 or maybe even 40% sale of the written and the videos as well. So if you would like to know already ahead, or if you are also an astrologer or want to start a YouTube channel, and my guidance going to be helpful for you, because you have to know I do every single month very, very detailed. And because I have in Vedic astrology Jupiter, Venus in Pisces in the fifth house, I'm very imaginative. So I'm trying to come up with all, possible way it could unfold in your personal life, anything. And I'm bringing in also asteroids and fixed stars and things like that. So it's very, very detailed. The written one is very detailed, and also the video will be detailed as well. And next year, I made a decision. I'm going to do the short horoscopes for each individual sign. I already gonna record that in August, and also the monthly videos as well. So you will see a difference in the structure of my videos. All right. So it's going to the full moon. It's going to conjunct with Alcesti, which is in Sagittarius 24 degrees, and going to oppose Penelope in Gemini, and it's gonna square Nessus, and it's also going to conjunct with Niobe and square Tische. So we're going to talk about them, right? So we're going to talk about the mythology. So when I'm going to analyze the whole entire collective for you one by one, you can understand why did I bring those kind of examples for you in. So, for example, what is asteroid Alcesti over here, and Alcestis actually, and the self-sacrificing queen? Because what's happened over here? So, the myth says she offered her own life so that her husband, King Admetus could live. She was the ideal of wifely devotion, but it wasn't eternal, right? Because Hercules fought death and brought her back. So there could be some kind of self-sacrifice for love, or also some kind of sacrifice at great personal cost. You are sacrificing yourself for some kind of belief or dogma, maybe, but not necessarily truth over here. So it's martyrdom in relationship, but also heroic resurrection as well, right? And because of it's on the full moon, you are being asked, where have you died for someone who never thanked you? And where can love resurrect, in on own terms as well? So it's also going to conjunct asteroid Niobe over here, and Niobe is actually the grieving mother. The pride turned to stones. Niobe actually um, boasted of her many children, mocking Leto, who only had two, Apollo and Artemis. And, it was a very bad move from her because of the twins, the divine twins, slaughtered all her children. And Niobe turned to stone from grief. So, this is right now the astrology meaning of this conjunction with the full moon over here is the maternal pain, right? Especially in pride of competition in parenting. A lot of parents usually are competitive, whose children can walk first or get potty trained first, or doesn't really matter when they going to be adults. But yes, that could be some kind of pride competition in parenting. They are fighting on the field, when the children actually doing some sports. It's crazy. And it's also lesson in humility and emotional vulnerability as well. Grief that actually petrifies the heart, but also it's endorse. So you might feel actually some kind of grief right now, and it could be your own, or maybe it is some kind of ancestral inherited pain over here. It could also bring some kind of wound, motherly wound. Like I gave you everything and you turned away to your children, to your adult children. What did you do? Why did you leave me alone? Why do I deserve this kind of situation? And it's also a chance right now. Your tears bring you back to life. Right now, you are grieving and you let it go. And actually, the meditation is about this. And it's also going to square asteroid Nessus. And Nessus is actually in 21 degrees, 39 minutes Pisces. So, what is Nessus over here? So, Nessus is actually the poison gift. It is the abuser who pretended saving you, right? So, Nessus actually tried to assault Hercules' wife, and and he gave her a magic cloak actually soaked in his blood, which eventually killed Hercules. So, and it was poisoned. So it is manipulation, and manipulation in love. For example, it could bring in some kind of cycle of abuse or trauma, and especially manipulative seduction. Be careful if you go out. Never leave your drinks outside so somebody can drug it, right? So that kind of situation. And it is also some kind of wounded healer, the shadow, hurting others by actually claiming virtue. And you see that around the world. This is happening daily. And it could be also generational sexual trauma as well, that requires actually some kind of fierce boundaries right now. I know you want to talk to my father or my cousin, but there was some kind of sexual trauma, and I'm not doing that for you. I'm willing to cut all the bonds with them. So watch for people actually who grab control around you, and they're narcissistic. And also there is some kind of powerful moment for breaking trauma as well. And it's also going to square asteroid Tishe. And Tishe, actually, I love Tishe. And I always analyze that because of, for finances. And as a financial astrologer, I have to always involve Tishe as well. So, it's the lady luck. It's, it could also bring in misfortune if you are clinging too hard to something. But Tishe was a Greek goddess of fortune, and for good and bad, as I said. So ruled actually chance, and it could become hell itself as well. So what is actually the themes over here with this square? Because squares is in our Mars in flavor. It's Martian archetype. So it is like a push. It is bold movement. It's a war, right? So actually faith against effort, or so it could be when you've done all the right things, but the life still going to screw you kind of situation because it's squaring with the moon. It is some kind of control freak tendencies as well, and you are tested right now. And you have to let go of perfectionism and trust the chaos. Pisces could be chaos. The North Node is there and actually conjunct with Tisha over here. And it's opposing actually the South Node and opposing also. Uh, Oh no, actually Tisha is in Virgo, so you have to let go of chaos and perfectionism, yes. And Nessus, opposing with Nessus and North Node in Pisces. So sorry about yeah, I'm just checking my note over here. So yes, so it is just letting go of perfectionism and trusting the Piscean chaos over there. And it is also going to oppose Penelope in Gemini, right? And as I said, opposition in Saturnian in flavor, and it is heavy. It's cold. It's uh, uh, challenge. It is fierce and death, And actually, Penelope, if we are checking the archetype and the mythology over her, it was the lawyer, weaver, She was waited for her lost husband over 20 years, to return. So it's longing over here, loyalty, devotion. Anything gonna return, but I put my devotion and ideas in, emotional holding on patterns. Actually, the moon says, let it go, and Penelope wants to hold on, but they oppose each other. And the moon gonna push Penelope right now, like, okay, that's not wise right now. Your time is wasted right now if you're going to hold on to something what you didn't benefit for 20 years, closet situation. Did you wear that clothes over a year or this year? If you haven't, then you're never gonna do that again. No matter what, give it away, let it go, that kind of situation, like faith against fantasy. Waiting actually could become an identity over here. You don't want to identify with something which is just waits, and never acts, especially with the Sagittarius full moon, which is very fiery energy over here. So, are you waiting for something that was never yours to begin with, or this aspect could also trigger, a choice? You can keep weaving this pattern, or, like just start something new here. So surrender is a must, because surrender going to liberate you. And what is this lunation brings actually for us? This lunation, the themes itself, it's karmic release of all sacrifice, anything to do with loyalty, pride, love, and the painful truth also, because, around family, because it's Jupiter, the ruler, is in Cancer, or stories that you never heard before, and it's going to be disturbing. And actually, unlearning inherited suffering as well. I don't know if you saw the movie It's End With Us, but that is actually Riley Bailey, and so or Bailey Ryle. I forget her name right now. Oh my God, why? Why did I forget? Actually, she has a lawsuit against the guy. But okay, the thing is over here, that's the movie End With Us. It's like she is finishing an ancestral trauma, what female actually um, experience all the time in her life, and she made a choice. So she was Sagittarius over there. Let it go, Sagittarius woman, and I'm not going to feed into this ancestral trauma over here. That is actually the psychic image of the whole entire full moon. Like you sit and, you are sitting on a mountain, for example, and you can cheer or you can weep, or, the moon going to pour silver fire over you and it's going to whisper you, that's it. It ends with me. And you are taking it. So that's very important. And also I have to talk about, we're going to have a grand trine as well during this full moon, and it's going to be Chiron actually in Aries, and also it's going to be Mars in Leo. Okay, so it's going to actually create a grand fire trine. And Chiron in Aries is actually the sacred wound, anything to do with the warrior healer there. And Mars in Leo is the willpower, the courage, the solar fire force. So we also going to have a lot of solar fire. And usually it's not very common in June, July, and summer times, but we're going to have 5, 6G solar fire, and it's gonna get, we can see that down to the equator, not to the equator, but really down in south as well. And the moon in Sagittarius actually is anything to do with your prophecy, the truth itself, because it's fighting for the truth. So this is actually a divine, beautiful, grand fire trine. The energy doesn't burn you down; it burns off your bullshit, right? So because it wants to release the truth and let you go of dogmas and what doesn't serve you anymore. So all right, what does it whispers? Actually the fire trines definitely does not whisper because they bawl, they scream, right? So it is like they are very, very active, they are initiative, and they are very raw. So the Aries is the beginning of the soul fire. It's impulse, it's instinct, and it's also raw. And it says, I am. And the Leo is the performer of the fire, like identity, creation, divine will, the royalty over here. And Sagittarius is the truth of the fire, the belief, the vision, the meaning. So what this trinity going to unfold us? So the moon in Sagittarius is the truth seeker, and actually it's in the ninth house, right? And that's something to do, the collective feels like it's on a pilgrimage, and emotion going to surge around freedom and justice and higher ideas. And the truth doesn't feel optional actually right now. It's going to feel vital for us. And Chiron is Aries. Aries rules the first house. So that is the wounded warrior over here. Aries ruled by Mars, personal and collective identity wounds. And it's going to resurface right now. But this trine, the pain actually going to become the fuel right now. So think like I was silenced, but no, I'm going to teach. I was abandoned, but no, I'm going to protect others because I have the experience and I know what I'm teaching because I lived it through. And Mars is Leo, in Leo actually, because Leo rules the fifth house right now, and it's some kind of solar action over here. And because of the moon is already in the third decan, it also brings it sun energy as well. So it will actually become very, very courageous and heart, uh, heart led. You're going to lead from heart actually. Um, it's time actually to be seen doing what you believe in. And it's time to fight. But actually, we're not going to fight with bitterness. We're going to dress up and have the custom on. It could be very theatrical. People are gonna have custom on if they identify with some kind of ideas. And because of US, when Uranus is going to go to Gemini, right, in July 7th, US going to have a Uranus return civil war. I'm going to talk about that later. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the video. And, we're going to actually dress up, no King Days, for example, whoever going to protest against Trump right now, it's going to have a symbol of, paper crowns going to be burned on the street or things like that. So it's gonna be very theatrical. Or the protest against the Middle East crisis over there. It's also going to become very, very symbolic. Right now, you see that in Europe, people are actually carrying symbol of, the white bloody um, wrap some kind of things around like it would be a baby. So that kind of protest, very, very theatrical. So yes, how it's going to affect actually the collective over here. So, actually I said, when you are protects or when you have some kind of any kind of revolution, it's coming from the heart and it is a mass awakenings, anything to do with faith, anything to do with sovereignty and anything to do with identity or identity system, it is going to be very intense and it is going to push us to educational reform and, belief system going to collapse. Religions going to have issues as well because of, let me see, scandals are coming out, for example, about the Pope or about Vatican or, leaders, obviously, because Mars is in Leo, that's leaders as well. Anything to do with activists emerge from unlikely places, educators going to become the activists, soldiers actually going to turn against the leaders, the soldiers, or some kind of mass public pushback against dogmas or the religious or legal system, spiritual leaders going to go viral, but these are not going to be the fake ones because Sagittarius is not going to allow that. It is something raw and someone who already was bruised before and right now become honest and brutally honest ones, talking about abuse and things like that. And also the art field going to become a battlefield as well. Why? We're going to see more dances, more art, more art actually coming out, documentaries to become actually like the tools of protest over here. So and you're going to see a lot of youth-led movements as well, and it's going to search for climate justice and also gender rights as well, and bodily autonomy as well, because Mars also rules Scorpio and abortion over there, so it's that they're definitely gonna be that. And former abusers going to get exposed through personal essays or documentaries or open letters. Why? Because actually it could also bring in some kind of, and because of the Uranus Mars square going to happen 4 days later, but I'm gonna talk about that, about Trumps and everything, but it's might going to really release, the hackers gonna release the Epstein file and everybody gonna be on that, or the DD file, and there is gonna be a lot more hackers. So there has to be some kind of former abusers going to get exposed and government going to face trials and war-related trials, something to do with veteran cares or PTSD, because they took the phone away, they can give it back right now. But definitely there will be some kind of war-related justice coming in, and large scale of apology because they have to have redemption from the public, but it's not going to work anymore. And as I said, religious scandals because of Jupiter in Sagittarius, I mean in Cancer exalted, right? Um, so yes, and also it could bring in wildfires as well, guys. So you'll be going to see California, Australia, Canada, anything, what didn't have water right now, we're going to have a lot more wildfires. And because Mars also representing the lava itself, so we could have a lot of volcano eruption as well. And even if it's a trine, grand trine, but because of 4 days later, what's gonna happen, that's what's going to bring in some kind of issues with that. But it could be also digital fires. What is digital fires? As I said, solar fires is very, very possible, 5G, 6G storms over there. So, mass hacks and, anything to do with whistleblowers also there. All right, and cults could dissolve also. This the Grand Trine actually can, those kind of mega temples and could be revolved right now what they are doing and how bad they are. So the archetype of this energy is really like you are allowed to grieve right now, and you are allowed also to become something what your parents don't understand. So you can let go of that kind of ancestral, you know, uh, beliefs, and they want you to become someone you never wanted to, and you are allowed to hear right now. So your pain has made you wise, right? And now you're capable to rise. Your story was never weakness, it's a weapon of light. You have to understand that. All right, so then we also have to understand the full moon, it's not actually a casual reflection over here. As I said, it's letting go, it's ending a contract here. So you survived, right? And right now you teach others how. That's the most important. And then we're going to talk about collective right now and something to do with geopolitical and global scenarios. You know, you always have to check actually and go back what usually the Sagittarius full moon brings in summer times in the collective. So, you know, anything to do with faith-based institution, because Sagittarius representing faith-based, going to come under some kind of public eye, and you know, it's going to expose abuse. And money laundering. And, you know, then you can actually think of Godfather when Michael went to the Vatican and, you know, like who is it bought by mafia and, you know, manipulated by either politicians or mafia. Actually, politicians are mafia. But, you know, yes, something the Vatican can be, you know, and it could also collapse mega churches as well. And that because of Jupiter also, and Sagittarius is foreign countries, foreign land, and Jupiter is in homeland right now, so something to do with migrant crisis as well, and it's going to intensify. You know, Sagittarius could be something to do with the international borders and also long journey. Right now, we saw that in America, you know, Trump is adding to the list more passport and more countries. And Pisces South Node actually is displaced people, right? It could be something to do with weather related. And Virgo South Node over there, it's like, where do they work, live, eat? You know, like it is something to do with some kind of crisis, but it's not necessarily geopolitical. It could be weather related. And you know, a mass refugees, you know, and how do we control this? And you know, some countries actually going to enforce sticker travel, right? Um, and then also we're going to have, and we will expose false gurus and misuse spiritual platforms as well. And there is a lot. I always tell you, you know, they are just growing like after rain, mushrooms popping up everywhere. And those fall preachers and gurus and mentors, you know, going to get actually revealed and reward. And, you know, those are also coaches and astrologers, or, you know, who are actually exposed for manipulation. And cult-like dynamics as well, and also the academic censorship because of, you know, ethics scandals in universities. Sagittarius rules academics and universities and philosophies, and you will see, like, you know, like for example, there could be some kind of political profit involved in universities. We see that right now, what Trumps want to do with Harvard, right? Some kind of ethic violation in Ivy League schools, scientific fraud in vaccine. We see that right now coming out, you know, the first paper with actually, I'm very disappointed in Kennedy. I was a Kennedy girl and I read all his books. And right now, I'm not really sure I should even mention the statistic out from the group, the books what I read. All right, whatever, you know, this is my own pain over here, but it could be something to do with that also. And mass religious movement as well, you know, like which could be chaotic. So we will see what's going to happen, but that could happen. And also, you know, the war situation around the world, you know, missiles, drone, airstrike near sacred sites or universities. They're going to, you know, For example, Jupiter also rules Pisces, Pisces rules hospital, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, also, which is anything to do with universities. So it could be obviously, and also it rules airplane, not just airplane, but also airports as well. So we can see more actions with drone and attack airports and attack hospitals and attack universities, you know. Uh, so that could be a situation over here, or it could be just simple. I have a mosquito in something to do with cyber hacking of hospitals and education system, for example, or anything to do with the global visa system as well, or the airlines itself, right? Because Russell House actually is the serpent and it's hidden and it's poison. So something is leaking a virus in and it's cracking down everything. The solar fire over there could actually crack down everything and we're not gonna be able to use, like in Spain for 3 days and Portugal, we had that kind of blackout and it could happen everywhere. All right. Yes. But also it could be some kind of moral justification, but maybe it is just like the government going to frame someone for, because it's necessary to become violent or aggressive, and actually it's not the person. It is, like they actually framed someone into to take the blame. Also, there could be some kind of natural events, as I said, because of Mars is in Leo, and Sagittarius. And also the asteroids Nessus and Niobe is over here. So it could be something to do with and because of Jupiter is in Cancer, it's water related. So it could be something to do with toxic water scandals, right? Or flooded farmlands, for example, because of we have the Pisces and Virgo nodes square over here. Or it could be volcano and wildfire, as I said as well. Something to do with the Machu Picchu, or sacred mountains, or it has to be something sacred, because Jupiter is very, very sacred place. It's a bucket list when you are traveling, especially because of the ruler is exalted. So we will see some kind of earthquake around some kind of sacred place as well. Mecca, Machu Picchu, something like that. And in media, because Jupiter also rules media, right? So there could be some kind of backlash right now, um, because of legal crisis, and it could be something to do. They are using the platform, for example, fake TikTok and YouTube creators, for example, going to come out and going to have some kind of scandals as well. And there is going to be a lot of celebrity whistleblowers as well. And they're going to maybe release some kind of information about war or big pharma or sex scandals as well. So yes, definitely it's a global movement right now because of Jupiter as well, and something to do with wisdom. And it could also do something with indigenous wisdom and people as well. So there could be something about how they've been treated and the mass graves going to be actually exposed right now. Yes, and the market also going to react. Obviously, Jupiter is thin, but also housing market as well, and like something to do actually with lawsuits, and the lawsuits is going to actually collapse. Some kind of empires, which is universities, anything to do. It could be some kind of AI tutoring empire as well, but it could bring in collapse over here. Inflation, anything to do with travel visas and the tariff. Ninth house is the tariff over there. So it could bring in some kind of issue because of tariff as well. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. And right now we're going to talk about each individual rising sign, but you can watch that if you have stellium in the sign, or as I said at the beginning, you have to see between 17 to 23 degrees if there is some kind of personal planet or anything to do with your sun, moon, rising, or some kind of planet over there. And is it trine? Then your is that? Is it squares or opposing? You have to check that. But I'm going to talk about each individual signs, and then we're going to do the meditations. I start always with Aries rising, just because that's how the astrology wheel going around. And also, if you are watching that for your sun sign, because you don't know your rising sign, the time of your birth, it's all right. The sign, everything to do with your vitality, with your career, with your father figure, that is the way you are making money also. The moon sign is your real estate, your family, your living situation, your mother figure, the way you are nurturing, the way you are, your subconscious also. And the rising sign is all about you. So that's what you have to know at the beginning of the readings. And we're going to go like for each individual signs, and we're gonna go to Aries rising. And Aries rising, this is your ninth house real estate, right? So the ninth house is the Sagittarius field in your chart, and anything to do with, and the full moon gonna take place there. And the ninth house is closer in education, in spiritual path, in legal matters, anything to do with international affairs as well. So, for example, immigration paper could finalize and you may finally get visa, green card, or court hearing, anything to do what you were waited for years, or at least it started half year ago and right now you are finishing. You can also publish a book, or actually you can either start a series or end a podcast series as well. And you share truth and know it's going to become a new phase in your life, and you have to let go of the way you are actually relate to this platform, or you start to monetize right now. A mentor also could live your life, you admired someone, but you were the person was very rigid, and you're going to disconnect somehow, and you're going to take your own path. Sometimes, or actually often I say, the student become the master, and it could be time for you as well. And it could be also, yeah, like a university chapter going to close for you, a major graduation or thesis defense, or, spiritual training going to end for you. But also it could still kind of inner doubt as well. And it could be also conflict between legalities and your belief system as well. So, justice system and religious institution. And it could be a painful reawakening, but also it's going to be liberating. Taurus rising, sun and moon is going to happen in your eighth house. Eighth house, anything to do with, like um, joint finances, intimacy, debt, inheritance, taboos, tax, anything to do with abortion, miscarriage, pregnancy, sexuality, detective work, right? So you finish paying off a loan or get actually a harsh reminder, because of it could be like, okay, your credit card is canceled, debt, closes, or, some kind of unspoken agreement could shatter over here. And it could be also some kind of inheritance drama as well, with truth relieved. Right now you find out a secret around will or real estate or property as well. And it could be also some kind of therapy for you, which could bring in a breakthrough. You admit something you have hidden even from yourself, and right now it's going to release you, tears going to flow, and you relieve. And it could also bring in sexual healing, and actually it could break a trust as well, because a lover going to confess, okay, I was manipulative or cheated, or there will be some kind of taboo desires as well. It could bring up some kind of taboo desires as well. Or you do actually a financial burden and you say, I supported my parents all the time and I'm gonna walk away from this dependency and I don't want to do it anymore, or I can't do it anymore. All right, Gemini rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your seventh house, the full moon, right? And it is the seventh house is mirroring, it's legal matters, it's business, it's romantic partner as well. It's also your subscriber if you're having some kind of social media followers. And it is marriage partnership, it could reach to the peak. And either you're going to celebrate like, a wedding, a commitment, or you're going to realize no longer aligned and you let go of the relationship. It could be also something to do with, oh, mediation, for example, if you are divorcing, or a court hearing, and it could be finalized a divorce or a custody, anything to do with legal contract, right? And also, it could reveal a hidden belief or some kind of bias as well with a partner, for example, with a business partner, and either going to realign with the person or you just leave. And it could be a breakthrough in couple therapy. Old wounds are definitely, coming up, and it could become healing because you are capable to see what was the wound over there. And there could be also like a public enemy as well, falling actually from grace and falling off for your rudder as well. The rivalry is over, the lawsuit is over, the toxic ties ending right now, and it's suddenly. Cancer rising sun and moon is going to happen in your sixth house, the full moon, and the sixth house, anything to do with job, work, health, anything to do with caregiving, anything to do with serving others. It's your daily routines. It's actually your rental property. It's actually soulmate relationship as well, if you believe it or not. And it's your puppy. It's your small dogs, animals, and also its co-workers, tenant, rental properties, as I said. So, a job contract could end, and actually, a toxic boss also could leave, and it's become actually easier to breathe again. And or you are just quitting without even to have a backup plan, or you quit because of stressful work, and actually, let me drink a little bit. So you leave because of your health matters more. And then also it could be have some kind of issues with pet health, and it could be some kind of crisis, or you need a pet insurance right now, and you are going to have to find something, or you're saying goodbye for a pet. And it's very emotional. And it could be also like you start a diet or you end the diet and a new health routine, and you can become really obsessive with that. And careful because Jupiter is in Cancer. So it could also bring a burnout as well, because you served others and overworks, and you ignored your own needs over there, and your body screams for rest right now. The coworker also could expose some kind of truth over here about other colleagues, and it's going to rapidly shift the dynamic of the situation at work. All right, Leo rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your fifth house, the full moon and the full moon. Actually, Trump is a Leo rising, so is my older son. but anything to do with creativity, children, romance, anything to do with risk taking. That's the house of gambling as well. It's playfulness. And, it could be if you have children, a child makes a life-changing choice over here. You can become a grandparent, for example, or you can become a parent, or your children are going off to college right now. They have more identity and they are separating a little bit. You're going to be proud and terrified at the same moment. It could also end a love affair, and especially it could be revealed actually in publicity, and maybe you are married and you didn't want that to be exposed. Also, you could have some kind of creative project ending, and like you launch something finally, a gallery, a book release. It's powerful, it's vulnerable, it's saying the truth. And you're waiting right now for feedbacks, and it could be also bring a fertility closure as well. Anything to do about pregnancies, yours or someone else, maybe your children's having, babies already if you are in that age. And you are going to start chasing for validation right now. You know how you play the game over here. And you maybe played for applause, but right now you don't want to. It's the real joy that's going to give you actually some kind of sense of success here. Virgo rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your fourth house, and fourth house anything to do with family, real estate, ancestors, that's your homeland. It's ending and funerals as well. You have to understand it is, the foundation come to a full cycle over here, and the roots. You sell or leave a childhood home, for example. It could be that as well, or saying goodbyes to the past, to your identity. It could be say your goodbye to an older authority figure in your life. It could be some kind of revolution. No, revealing some kind of secret in the family. Actually, do a DNA test, and you actually finding a long lost sibling over there, or you find out who is your biological parent, for example. But it could also bring a closure with parents as well. You are capable to forgive. It could be a physical loss, as I says as well. And it could also like you realize you outgrown actually a living situation, you ending a lease, you want to go to a different neighborhood because of the neighborhood is not your values anymore. And it is also, the connection with your ancestors could deepen as well. You can do some kind of rituals or ceremonies what they have done before, so you can go back to the roots, and you saw some kind of recreate something what they did before, a ritual, um, a legacy over there. All right, Libra rising, sun and moon. Am I at Libra rising, or did I? Yes, Libra rising, sun and yes, you're going to have that in your third house, the full moon, gonna fall out in the third. So then third house, anything to do with communication, with your card, with your neighborhood. That is the familiar, right? What you are familiar with. It is your mindset. It is short-term plans and traveling, and it is local environment. It is your siblings, your nephews, your niece, your aunt, uncle, so the close relatives over there, younger siblings. All right, so you cut ties with toxic sibling or cousins over here, and you clear the dynamic. You're not going to feed into their drama, or you are publishing a book, or you speaking about your project right now and you complete it. You can actually create a blog or some kind of newsletter if you would like to. And it could be also like you are selling a car because of it's not good, it's not safe anymore, or just giving up something with your transportation. Some kind of issue with your transportation could come in, a car breakdown, right? And some kind of disruption with short-term traveling as well. You can have a fallout with a neighbor as well, and you find a journal, a letter, or an email that change everything about maybe a sibling, a relative there, and but no one else knew before. And or you just start to write or create an online school, for example, or end something what you thought were teaching before, but it's not anymore aligning with your values. And it could actually end also a gig for you, a school arrangement, if especially if you were a preschool teacher or public education, it could end that. Scorpio rising sun and moon is going to happen in your second house. Second house, anything to your money, values, moral self-worth, your possessions, your physical stability, as well, for money, the way you are earning money. You can actually quit a job right now that paid, but, bled your soul dry. That's the truth over here. You know, like financial windfall or also gift could arrive as well through inheritance, settlements, anything to do with unexpected opportunities, which is going to actually give you a breathing over here. You can also lose some kind of possessions as well. So, you know, you could have an actually accident or theft or anything to do with you know, you donated to someone and you found out they are fraud, or a physical item could get lost. And, you know, my husband actually is a Scorpio stellium and a Scorpio sun. He's not a Scorpio rising Taurus, but a day before we had actually a break-in in his car, and he left over there his very expensive headphones and things like that. And you know, like he's very mad about that. So this is already could be the full moon over here, relate to that. So you also could recognize actually your worth as well, because you know you're going to let go of old patterns and you know and old boundaries as well, and because of you releasing that, something new could come in for you, and you can uncover a limiting belief right now. You can let go of that as well. You know, the way you are eating, you might going to go gluten free or vegetarian. You let go of something what doesn't, because the second house also the food what you eat. Sagittarius rising sun and moon, my fellow beautiful Sagittarian, that is in our first house, you know, anything to do with your body, identity, autonomy, and anything to do with your self-expression, the way you pretend, you know, under the spotlight, the mask what you wear. And this full moon actually going to bring in a major personal transformation. You know, you can have some kind of surgery, weight loss surgery, or gender transition, or some kind of public revealing. You know, the way you are actually represented by the public going to change, and now you are visible, right? Because you let go of something and you leave behind an old image, an old persona over here. Something finally start acting, and from your true self, because you have to be authentic. The Sagittarius moon actually asking you, this is your full moon, your magical full moon, right? And you will get a lot of public attention, and careful, better on worse, you know, in famous or both could be at the same times. Your body demands the truth also, you know, and you might going to actually have some kind of solitude, and it's going to be sacred, but you stand alone. And you know, you're going to stop chasing approval, which is very important, and we're gonna walk on our them or on or on them road, right? So that's what it means. Yes, but definitely weight loss could start right now for you guys. Capricorn rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 12th house. The 12th house, anything to do with dreams, addiction, subconscious pattern, anything to do with isolation, spiritual retreats as well. Hidden, it's hidden, right? It's hidden enemies. So anything to do with an old addiction, you know, it could either come back or you just release it, and finally you have a chance with compassion to release it and to get rid of it. Secret could be exposed, so be careful, because it could be some kind of truth coming up and somebody betrays you, a hidden enemy, you know, in the dark, and it's not staying anymore in the dark. But you know, with that kind of release, you also actually liberated, you will, but then you can breathe as well. You can leave a toxic job or actually institutional setting, hospital, you know, what is that? Hospice, prison, anything to do with religious organization, non-profit, and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be hostage over there. Actually, it could end hostage situation as well. You could, you know, just people can get out from if they were held hostage in a basement or whatever. But yeah, that could be that. Uh, lot of psychic visions and downloads definitely for you Capricorns, and you can also go to retreats as well, or you actually giving up plant medicine because you have done many times ayahuasca and you know, like, okay, what's going on, it doesn't do anything more. and you're just giving up, but also you can realize your suffering has purpose, and you can actually put that in music or art or poetry, and that could become something big for you. Aquarius rising sun and moon is going to happen in your 11th house. 11th house, anything to do with your future dreams, right? Social networks, communities, and friendship as well. That is also luck, and it's salary from your career as well. So you walk away from a group that no longer aligns with your morals, and maybe they have no integrity. And it could be an activist online community group or business, or anything like that. Even friends, you are not here to play small, and you are the mastermind, and you say, okay, I'm done over here. Anything to do with a long-held wish or dream, it might going to actually die and dry out, and you are going to free yourself from that. It's not aligning with me anymore. It's changed. My dream have changed, and it could be also some kind of public betrayal, but it could be also public recognition, among peers as well. Either you're going to be celebrated or become an outcast here. But you can rise from this, definitely. An old friendship ends. It could be quite dramatic, actually. But it's going to open up space for new people for you. And also, it could be some kind of social media detox for you. And it could be forced or chosen. So maybe you will be blacked, or you will black a lot of people right now. And Pisces rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 10th house. Yes, it's in your 10th house. And 10th house, anything to do with your career, anything to do with, it's your public image, it's your reputation, it's your legacy over there. Um, and you might going to resign or get fired right now, but it's definitely timed, and it's definitely time to do that because of uh, you're going to have new opportunity. It's karmics, the door slams, but the destiny going to swing open another door. So that's very, very important. And you also receive major recognition, maybe a public award or public praise, or a viral post, for example, a promotion. You work for it, you own it. And also, you are capable to confront an authority figure if you must. And it could either gain you actually respect, or it's going to bring you some kind of goodbyes in your life. It could be also a parental figure story closes. So, like, or you changing names because you divorced, and your name you're going to go back to your maiden name, for example. You're changing names maybe because of you becoming a doctor right now, right? So, or definitely it could bring in some kind of Nobel Prize for some people, or some kind of big award. And your launch your true calling, anything to do with teaching, your gift, or your soul work, a new business over here could be very prominent. All right, guys. So we finished with um, all the rising sign and all the signs over here, and we're gonna go for a meditation, right? And what I really want you to do, I want you to do and find a comfortable place anywhere where you are feel comfortable, and like you are not bothered, and you are like you have space, the dog is not barking, and just either you're going to lay down, or either you're going to just sit and be really, really comfortable. And actually I'm going to choose a different background right now, because I want to also thank you. You've been here with me, and that's going to be my background right now. And we're going to start a meditation, right? So it's going to be an angelic meditation for us, and I do want you to close your eyes and remember who you are and who you have been before. Close your eyes, inhale through your nose, long and deep. Exhale slowly, like you are blowing a kiss to your relatives who are saying goodbye and going home. Now imagine you are no longer in your room. You are barefoot on a marble staircase in the sky, rising above a sea of clouds glowing lavender and gold. Every step sparkles with the light of constellations. The wind carries jasmine, sandalwood, and something older, like a mirror or memories from before you were born. Above, the full moon in Sagittarius beams down like an oracle, watching, knowing, forgiving. At the top of the stairs, the path widens into an ethereal garden. Trees with silver bark sing when the wind brushes their leaves. Pools of starlight ripple as if they remember your soul from another life. Butterflies made of glowing parchment float past, carrying forgotten prayers from the living. In the distance, a cathedral of clouds and crystal pulses with soft light. You walk toward it, led not by logic, but by heart. The doors open without a touch. Feathers. You feel them before you see them. A presence behind you, then beside you, then in front. Angels, not as painting or stories, but as energy made form. Not cherubs, not winged humans. These are beings of light, shaped like music and warmth and truth. Their wings span eternity, yet they kneel to meet your gaze. Some carry scores, others hold mirrors made of water. One places a hand on your chest not to fix you, but to remind you you were never broken. You were birthing. You were never lost, only learning. You are guided to an altar in the center of the cathedral. On it lies a bowl made of moonstone filled with glowing water. You are invited to name what no longer belongs to your journey. Old guilt, a dead dream, a belief that said you were too much or not enough. As you whisper each one, it becomes light and drips into the bowl, dissolving like sugar in rain. The angel sings, not loudly, but like wind chimes in your bones. Each note releases another weight. An archangel comes, the one who has known your soul for lifetimes, lifts a crystal feather and touches your third eye. Suddenly you see a version of your standing strong, free, and laughing. A home wrapped in sunlight and music, a message you haven't spoken yet, glowing in your throat, ready to rise. The path you feared was gone, but still there, covered in moonlight and waiting for you. Your spine straightens, your chest expands, your root grows deep into the earth while your crown opens wide to the stars. You are the bridge now between this world and the unseen. They whisper, you are ready, you are open, you have faith again. And the wind carries its across the galaxies. The angels step back, not to live, but to walk with you now, as guides, not saviors. The moon glows brighter, the Sagittarius fire lightening the path you didn't see before. The path that says, don't worship the road, become the traveler. Don't wait for a sign, you are one already. Don't fear your fire, it's sacred. You are blessed, you are blessed, you are protected, you are free. You step back onto the staircase, you descend slowly, carrying the light in your heart. When your feet touch earth again, something is different. You breathe easier, you cry softer, you forgive faster, and you dream louder. You were never meant to fit the world, you were meant to expand it. Now go, my love. Lift your chin. Say thank you to the moon. And remember, even angels need fire to rise. Open your eyes, wiggle your toes, your fingers. Welcome back. Thank you so much to being here with me. I see you shortly with another video. Bye for now.